Shabbat Shalom. This is a beautiful night when we participate in a beautiful custom of 15 years vintage at Westchester Reformed Temple. We were approached 15 years ago by volunteer leaders in the congregation, Stephen Siegel and Charlotte Siegel, no relation, Jane Roberts and Barbara Moss, who said we should have a way ritually, spiritually, of honoring those members of longest vintage at Westchester Reformed Temple. After all, having just celebrated a 70th anniversary of our congregation, it's meaningful to acknowledge the ways in which that didn't just happen on its own. It happened because successive generations of people have been so dedicated to WRT that they have ensured its vitality and strength Lidor Vador from one generation to the next. So tonight, we celebrate Chai Society Shabbat, when members of 18 years and longer affiliation are honored. And we'll have a ritual moment later in our service to acknowledge all of our Chai Society members, and especially those new inductees to our Chai Society, those who joined in 2006. We celebrate you tonight. We have many simchas to celebrate. We'll acknowledge them as we go. I'd like to just start by saying we're blessed by the joyful leadership team that is with me on the bima, Cantor Amanda Kleiman and Cantor Isaac Sanadasor, our temple president Warren Haber, and Pete Malinverni on the keys and Jerome Morris on the drums. We also extend heartfelt sympathy to our regular Shabbat evening flutist Idan Sandhaus on the recent passing of his father. Idan recently traveled to Israel for his father's funeral, and I know when he comes back to WRT, you'll want to surround him with your love and comfort. To all who are joining our service tonight via our live stream, we wish you Shabbat Shalom as well. Many in our sanctuary tonight already have hearts that are kind of overflowing with nachas, which that's special Yiddish word for joy that just can't be stopped. And especially Isaac Setron and his family will celebrate bar mitzvah in the morning. Avi Farber and his family will celebrate midday right here on the same bima. And then we'll clear the decks for Andy April to celebrate her bat mitzvah at 5 o'clock. So it's going to be a very, very full bima tomorrow. Throughout the course of the day, many simchas to celebrate. We would be honored if at this time Isaac, Avi, Andy, and their families would come forward to help us kindle the lights for Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Amen. Just like a melody and harmony can be counterpoints to each other, the flames that our B'nai Mitzvah families have kindled symbolize hope and joy and warmth. They are the counterpoint to the blue candles that are kindled here and have been kindled every Shabbat since October 7th. Tonight, of course, being June 7th, marks the 8th month of this terrible war. Thank you for reminding us that even in the darkest moments in our people's story, there is always cause for hope, there's always cause for joy, and there is always cause to kindle more light. Mazel tov to all of you, and Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. Please. So this evening we embark on a new book of Torah, just as the Israelites prepare to leave the foot of Mount Sinai in order to face the Midbar, to face the wilderness. And before they set out, God teaches them to set up camp and to march on as a full community so that they may protect one another and care for one another throughout their journey ahead. and so that they'll see just how strong that they really are together. And so this evening, we set up camp here to celebrate the generations that continue to build and sustain WRT. And we sing, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. How good, how beautiful are your tents, your sanctuaries of Israel. And then when the time comes to break camp, we know that we will set forth together.
page 138. Sing Lecha Dodi together. We remain standing as we are called to prayer.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
And you may be seated with the exception of Isabel Mika Jennings, whom we'd like to come forward with her mom and dad, Ariel and Spencer. Oh, this one's been waving and charming the whole congregation since the minute she walked into the sanctuary. Come, stand right here. Mika, you are just over a month shy of your first birthday, and tonight is my first chance to meet you. I have been part of your family's life for many, many years. I actually knew your dad before he became a bar mitzvah, celebrated milestones including his confirmation here at Westchester Reformed Temple, and in 2008, your dad was a hooligan on a Temple Israel trip. And I have vowed ever since that moment in February 2008 that I would never let an opportunity pass me by to exact my revenge for all of the pranks that were pulled, often with my wife's explicit permission, behind my back on said trip. Case in point, I need to make it known to the congregation that of the many decisions you've made, right and wrong, in your journey through Judaism and through life, none has been more right than when you met Ariel Feldberg and decided to try to punch way outside your weight class. And as a result, became a family. For me, it is a tremendous blessing to help you count. Count the newest member of your family. Count the newest member of the Jewish people who is officially welcomed into the covenant of our people tonight. Counting is actually a really important theme in the Jewish tradition. This week, this Shabbat, we begin a new book of Torah. It's the fourth book, counting. It's called Numbers. It is, therefore, my least favorite book of Torah. Any of you who know my math skills understand why. According to Rashi, the great sage, every Israelite must be counted to show how precious each one is in the eyes of God and the community. And so tonight, we're counting you. Here's a math question for you. When we added Isabel to the Jewish people, by how much in integers did we increase as a people? The answer, you might think, is 1. The answer is not 1. The answer is actually infinity, because of all the possibilities of the people you will touch with your life, the people you will bring into your circle of friendship and learning and fun and joy, and a little bit of mischief as well. And so, Isabel, tonight we're here to say that we're counting on you. And we're also counting on your family to be your eternal fan club and to see that we have Gigi and Pop-Up and Mimi and Poppy and other family members out here in the congregation who are part of the Simcha is very special. The name that you are about to be given, Suri Sima Bat Yitzchak Tomkin Vashena Rivka, gives honor to family members who continue to bless your mom and dad and their loved ones through memory. And so at this time, I'd like to invite your parents to share a few words about your namesakes.
Good evening, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for welcoming us and for joining in this special occasion to celebrate the naming of our daughter, Isabel. Before we begin, I'd like to express our great appreciation for family here tonight, my parents, Maddie and David, my in-laws, Sally and Stephen, and Isabel's great-grandparents, Rochelle and Edward. This is an incredibly special night for us, especially being here at WRT. Not only was I bar mitzvahed by Rabbi Blake, but he also married Ariel and I, and now we are here today for our next milestone of naming our daughter. Choosing a name for our ray of sunshine was a momentous decision. A little bit about Isabel. She loves nighttime stories, petting her dog Nash, and playing with her toys. She is silly, curious, loves to sing songs, and clap her hands all day long. She is full of love and warmth, gentle with her baby cousin Noah, shares toys with her friends, and just is all around sweeter than sugar. Isabel's English middle name, Mika, represents both sides of our families, honoring Ariel's late grandfather Martin and my late grandmother Miriam. The Hebrew name we have chosen for our daughter, Suri Sima, is representative of both family and our personal road to parenthood. Suri is named after Ariel's late great-aunt Iris. Rochelle and Iris's mother died tragically at a very young age, so it bound them together in an unbreakable bond of sisterhood and love. She was more than family. She was Ariel's mom's maid of honor and was there for every birthday and every major milestone. Iris exuded warmth, love, and treated everyone with kindness and respect. As a librarian, she had a true passion for books. Her devotion to educating young minds and creating magic in reading will always be ingrained in Isabel. Suri in Hebrew means princess, which is fitting for how royally loved our baby is. Lastly, Ariel and I chose the name Sima, which means treasure, to represent our road to parenthood. During our journey of infertility, we were reminded that even miracles take time. And here today, Isabel is our miracle and our treasure. Our love for our daughter is indescribable, infinite, and has no bounds. She lights up our entire world. May Isabel grow up surrounded by love, laughter, and endless opportunities. Let her bring beauty, warmth, and kindness into the world.
We're going to ask before Isabella takes you down to her seat that we offer a blessing in song. Maybe you'll clap along.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha Shalom 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 ve'yasem lecha Shalom Shalom ve'yasem lecha Shalom 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 ve'yasem lecha Shalom Shalom ve'yasem lecha Shalom together Shalom Shalom ve'yasem lecha Shalom Shalom ve'yasem lecha Shalom 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 yasem lecha Shalom Shalom ve'yasem lecha Shalom Simin tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, simin tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, simin tovu, mazel tovu, simin tovu, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yisrael.
If that doesn't make you want to sing Shema, I don't know what does. Please rise, page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Turn now to page 158. Lift up our voices in offering Micha Mocha together.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
160.
השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, לחיים. May you shelter us in peace until the morning come. May you lay us down with love, and may you raise us up. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, לחיים.
162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את
Shabbat
Vayi nafash. Shabbat Vayi nafash.
Page 164, please rise.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach,
Sifatai tiftach,
Ufi Agid,
ufi agid,
Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imaot, Umevii Geula livnei bneihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל לחיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Invite you to continue praying silently, moved by the words in the Sidurim or from your hearts. You may choose to take your seats if that's your custom, or may pray standing.
Childhood was for fantasies, for nursery rhymes and toys. The world was much too busy to understand small girls and boys. As I grew up, I came to learn that life was not a game, that heroes were just people that we called another name, and the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hopes shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Today's the day I take my stand, the future's mine to hold. Commitments that I make today are dreams from days of old. I have to make the way for generations come and go. I'll have to teach them what I've learned, so they will come to know. And the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hopes shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us light. Give us time, give us strength, give us light.
Will all who are able please rise as we now give honor to the Torah.
Amen, 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 Yisrael chai. 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 Oh, Avinu chai.
I had to challenge myself to follow the lead of this week's Torah portion and book that we inaugurate, the book of Numbers, and do some math in order to figure out how best to honor the members of our community who have sustained us through their long and devoted affiliation. So, for the honor of the Torah tonight, we will be calling a great number of people up onto the bima, and I'll try to give you instructions that are both easy to remember and specific. If you joined our congregation in our founding decades, WRT was founded in 1953. At last year's Chai Society Shabbat, we honored for the last time the surviving founding member of Westchester Reformed Temple, Judy Weinberg, Zichrona Livracha, of blessed memory, and she passed last summer. And so this is the first time we are doing this service without a founding member, but we do have many people of our founding generation or founding decades. So we'd like for the first honor anyone who joined WRT between 1953 and 1970. And we'll ask that you kind of like take the spot closer to the ark, kind of like backstage. Thank you, downstage, yeah. We'd also like to invite forward the kids who grew up at WRT. So if you are a grown-up but also was a child who grew up in WRT, please join your generational cohorts on the bima. Jim Glucksman, looking at you. Perfect, you're already up here, great. And now, standing in front of you, actually closest, we're gonna kind of create like a band of space in the middle, but standing close to Cantor Sonnet Asor, we'd like to welcome the newest inductees, the class of 2006. So if you joined in 2006, please join us. I know there are a few of you here tonight. Welcome. Thank you so much. Charlotte, Caroline, and Mitchell, Mark and Beth, Mazel Tov, welcome. Yeah, leave a little space because we're going to fill in everyone else. So you folks, the newbies who've been here for 18 years, stand close to the front, even closer, even closer. Yeah, don't worry, we won't make you do the blessing by yourselves. And now to fill in the middle, we're going to call you up in two groups. If you have belonged to WRT for, let's say, more than 36 years or more, meaning you joined in 1988 or earlier but aren't already on the bima, filling close to the oldest generation of our members. But you got to leave some more room. Yeah, I'm going to keep pushing the newbies forward. It's good. Welcome. I'm getting pushed off the bima. This is good. And then finally, to join us in the Aliyah to the Torah, we'd like to invite forward those between 18 and 35 years affiliation at WRT. So if you joined between 1989 and 2006, please come up on the bima. This is good. This is my group. Right. Don't worry, congregation, if you're still out there, you're not chopped liver. One more year. Some of you have a few more years. Some of you belong up here but aren't walking, so you're all part of this. Okay. We need a bigger bima. Right. Exactly. Okay. Cantor Sonnet Asor. Are you ready to read some Torah?
I'm ready to read some Torah.
Okay. Let us offer together the blessings. I'm going to hold one up over here. The print is big, but not big enough for everyone to see, but just follow our lead. We'll join together on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Baruch Hu.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamburach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, הקרב את מטה לוי, והעמדת אותו לפני אהרון הכהן, ושרתו אותו, ושמרו את משמרתו, ואת משמרת כל העדה לפני אוהל מועד, לעבוד את עבודת המשכן. ושמרו את כל כלי אוהל מועד, ואת משמרת בני ישראל, לעבוד את עבודת המשכן. And the Eternal One spoke to Moses, saying, Bring forth the tribe of Levi, and bring its people in attendance of Aaron the priest, in order to begin their service. And there they shall perform their duties for the entire community before the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, doing the work of the Mishkan. And they shall take charge of all of the furnishings of the tent of meeting. This is a duty on behalf of all of the people of Israel, the holy work of the tabernacle.
Join me at the foot of the page, please, if you're on the bima. 1, 2, 3. Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chaye olam nata b'tocheinu Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
So you just heard Cantor Sonnet Asor chant this beautiful passage in which he notes that the Torah designates one tribe out of all of the Israelites, the tribe of Levi or Levi, for sacred service. It was that tribe that was responsible for all of the instruments and utensils and even the apparatus of the Holy Tabernacle or sacred tent itself. The Levites alone were responsible for the community's welfare. They were responsible for sustaining the structural apparatus of the Jewish community, the thing that really would become the emblem of the future synagogue, one tribe alone. Fortunately, biblical Judaism continued to evolve from generation to generation and century to century, and even from millennium to millennium. And as it evolved, Judaism would become democratized. The hereditary priesthood of Levites and Kohanim or Kohanes would eventually give way to a sense that the book of Exodus itself affirms that we are all a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. And that means that every single member of the Israelite community has a responsibility to build, support, and sustain the tabernacle. And that's why we make a kind of Mount Sinai out of this moment, because you are among those who have kept the tabernacle of Westchester Reformed Temple so strong, so vibrant, so enduring from one generation to the next. Each one of you, in a sense, has become a Levite, a person devoted to sacred service of this Jewish community. And your example inspires generations yet to come. I will tell you from the work that we do with the millennial and Gen Z and Gen Alpha generation, that's the kids in our Jewish Learning Lab today, that they understand how important Judaism and community is. They may only have come to this awareness in the last 8 months, but something has changed for them too. And may you continue to teach by example and word that without our commitment, without the next generation actually having skin in the game, a place like this can't survive, let alone thrive. Thank you. Thank you for all you do to strengthen and give life to our people on this Chai Society Shabbat. Mazel Tov, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Without stampeding, we're going to keep you on the bima for a moment and bless you in song. I'm singing this too. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. Forever young. Forever young. May you stay forever young.
May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth. See the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous. Stand upright and be strong. May you stay forever young.
Forever young. Forever young. May you stay forever young.
May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of change shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. May you stay forever.
All right, you join us now. Forever young. Forever young. May you stay forever young. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. I don't have mine. You know what? Once again, Shabbat Shalom. At the height of the Vietnam War, American radio stations were blasting Edwin Starr's War. War. What is it good for? Okay. So you may not know this, it was actually a blistering cover of the original, which was recorded by the Temptations a year earlier. Edwin Starr's War became a runaway hit, holding the #1 spot on the Billboard charts for 3 weeks in the summer of 1970. So, say it again. War. What is it good for? Right. Okay. I have prepared these reflections on the question, war, what is it good for? And I ask this as we mark tonight 8 months of war. We ask this on behalf of our hostages. We ask on behalf of the Israeli people who are still reeling from the physical, emotional, and sexual violence inflicted on October 7th. We ask for the sleepless Israeli parents with children serving in Gaza and in the north and in the West Bank and in all the places we tourists dare not go. We ask for the more than 100,000 Israelis still displaced from their homes, for the residents of the towns in the north that were burned by incendiary rockets fired by Hezbollah just this week. We ask for the Palestinian civilians in Gaza who have been killed and maimed and displaced from their homes, for the hungry and the thirsty, the sick and the frightened, whom Hamas has victimized by making them human shields, by stealing their food and their water and medicine and fuel, and worst of all, their hope. We ask for the Jewish students for whom this war has become an inescapable fact and feature of collegiate life, abused with hate speech, accused of genocide, kids who just want to hang out with their friends and drink beer, and even attend classes or study in the library, free from harassment. We ask, alongside the growing number of Israelis who are tired of this war, sick and tired of politicians whom they do not trust to prosecute this war. We ask, alongside the tens of thousands of Israelis who are protesting every week, begging their government to shift focus from bombarding Rafah to bringing hostages home. It is a reasonable question to ask, war, what is it good for? 8 months into what has become a terrible war. It is, however, a difficult question to answer. We turn to the Jewish tradition. Our prayer book is a love song to peace. Oseh shalom bimromav, may the one who makes peace in the heavens bring peace upon us. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, may a great peace come upon your people Israel. Sim shalom tova uvracha, grant peace and goodness and blessing. If the Siddur were all we had, you'd probably conclude there is no place for war in the Jewish tradition. But the Torah, Tanakh, Mishnah, Talmud, and Midrash, the collections of rabbinic teaching and storytelling, the annals of Jewish history, the codes of Jewish law, all make clear that war is not only sometimes permissible, but even sometimes imperative. The Torah itself provides conditions for going to war and the rules governing military conscription, exemption, and ethical conduct in war. This week's parashah, B'midbar, opens the book of Numbers with a census of the Israelites, mustering them tribe by tribe in the Sinai desert for a planned invasion of the Holy Land. Military conscription, at least for the men, was part and parcel of being numbered among the Israelite ranks. S'u et rosh kol adat b'nei Yisrael l'mishpachotam levet avotam b'mispar shemot kol zachar legilgulotam. Take a census of the whole Israelite company of fighters by the clans of its ancestral houses, listing the names every male, head by head. Mi ben esrim shana v'mala kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael tifkedu otam v'tzivotam ata ve'aharon. You, Moses, and Aaron shall record them by their groups from the age of 20 years up, all those in Israel who are able to bear arms. The book of Numbers is describing how, over the course of their wilderness journey, a debilitated band of escaped slaves will be rehabilitated as a fighting force to be feared by Israel's enemies. This book leads to Deuteronomy, in which Moses readies the troops for combat, and goes straight on to the book of Joshua, which is a logbook of the military campaign against the Canaanites. Wars are, of course, fought for many reasons, among them economic, political, and territorial. Wars are fought over ideology and religion, and sometimes even out of revenge. Judaism designates two general categories of war: milchemet reshut, or a discretionary war, that is, a war that you may fight, and milchemet mitzvah, a commanded war, a war that you must fight, or literally a war that is a mitzvah to fight. Rashi and Maimonides, each writing in the 12th century, defined a milchemet mitzvah as a defensive war that one fights only in response to an already launched attack. The sages are divided over how to categorize wartime operations designed to prevent an enemy from attacking. The Meiri, writing in France in the 13th century, concluded that one can launch a preemptive strike against an enemy amassing forces on a border, which he considers to be sufficiently defensive to be categorized as a milchemet mitzvah, or a war of obligation. In sum, the more a war can be seen as defensive, the more likely Jewish tradition will classify it as obligatory, and the more offensive or expansionist, the more likely to be classified as discretionary. At no time, of course, does Judaism give permission to conduct war wantonly without regard for civilian life, not in the traditional literature nor in the ethical code of the IDF known as Tohar HaNeshek, or purity of arms. But of course, principle and practice are not the same thing, and in the chaos of war, every bright line blurs. Decisions are made without good intelligence, and terrible suffering is inevitably inflicted on non-combatants, as we have seen. This is a grievous fact of war, but it is neither unusual nor even necessarily immoral. War is not a war crime. The morality of war is not measured in the proportionality of body count between one belligerent and another, but rather in the proportionality of the effectiveness of wartime measures taken against the identified military objectives. The Allied invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944, 80 years ago yesterday, resulted in somewhere between 4,400 and 10,000 Allied casualties and an estimated 4,000 to 9,000 German casualties. But no one evaluates the merit or the morality of that invasion this way. How many Allied lives were worth sacrificing in order to defeat the Nazis? How many German lives? These questions are strictly rhetorical. What to do about the war in Gaza? This is not a rhetorical question. It is also a question without any easy answers. There are reasonable people advocating for the war to continue until Israel's aims have been accomplished. And there are reasonable people, including a growing number of Israelis, who believe that a ceasefire and exchange of hostages, followed by longer-term efforts to eradicate Hamas's fighters and its political leadership, would be the better way to go. There are reasonable people who would point out that even with tens of thousands of dead in Gaza, a 2-to-1 combatant to civilian, or a 2-to-1 civilian to combatant ratio of wartime dead is better, and in fact more humane, than any other urban war of the modern era, noting as well that no other army has ever had to fight a jihadist militia that intentionally puts its own civilians in harm's way. Indeed, we would note that since coming to power in 2006, that is the same year tonight's High Society inductees joined WRT, Hamas has done exactly one thing, which is to prepare for October 7th, by training tens of thousands of fighters in land, air, sea, and cyber warfare, by diverting vast resources into building massive infrastructure for launching an asymmetrical war, and all while brainwashing the children of Gaza to become Islamo-fascist martyrs devoted to the cause of eliminating Israel. And there are also reasonable people who would point out that further pulverization of Gaza only makes it easier for Hamas to recruit and raise up a next generation of jihadists sworn to Israel's destruction. And there are certainly plenty of reasonable people, especially Israelis, who do not trust Netanyahu and his bedfellows to represent the interests of the Israeli public. And most reasonable people agree that this war will not truly end until a political roadmap, not a military one, is developed and implemented. All reasonable people with reasonable positions. What is not reasonable, I would submit, is excoriating this war as a genocide, or celebrating the perpetrators of October 7th, or harassing Jewish people for the alleged sin of being Jewish, or calling for so-called Palestinian liberation when what is meant is not an end to Palestinian suffering in Gaza or the West Bank, but rather the elimination of Israel. What is not reasonable is the incessant hectoring about Israel's war in Gaza without a scintilla of moral outrage over the 500,000 human beings who perished in the Tigray War, which consumed Ethiopia just 2 years ago, or the more than 500,000 dead in the Syrian civil war of the last decade, or the more than 150,000 killed in war in Yemen, who are also lying in freshly dug graves, coupled with another 227,000 dead there of famine, or, for that matter, the dead of the Russian-Ukrainian war, now also well into six figures after more than 2 years of fighting. Protest war all you like, but at least know what you're protesting and why you might choose to protest only this war, especially given the ample menu of bloodshed on offer from just the last few years. Judaism is in fact not a pacifist tradition, meaning the belief that any violence, including war, is unjustifiable under any circumstances and that all disputes should be settled by peaceful means. Judaism is not pacifist, even though it is deeply and thoroughly peace-loving. Jewish history, Jewish text, Jewish morality, and Jewish lived experience at this very moment all offer one answer to the question, war. What is it good for? And that answer is not absolutely nothing. From the Sinai Desert to the Normandy beaches, from June 6, 1944 to October 7th, 2023, to this day, 8 months later, the only reasonable answer to our question is this: war is only good for anything when every alternative is worse. Shabbat Shalom. Pray together as a congregation for the hurting, for those without hope, for those who are sick, for those whose bodies and spirits are broken, for those who are worried, for those who can't sleep at night, for those who need healing. If you have names of loved ones that you'd like to share for this Misha Berach prayer of healing, you can participate in our custom by rising and speaking those names aloud when my eyes meet yours, or remaining seated to offer them quietly. Tonight, our WRT community also prays for the healing, of Binyamin Ben Reuven, Jeff Millman, Malka Gila Bat Bina, Chaika Chana Bat Sorafegel, Maurice Miller, Alan Isserlis, Emerson Lorenzoni, Jake Cohen, Zachary Snedeker, Zvi Hirsch Ben Yehuda, Barry Gitlin, Beth Dworetsky, Judy Balsam, Ilana Bat Shmuel, Debbie Kapnick, Chava Bat Sara, Eliyahu Chaim Ben Fredel, Sheila Freed, Jenny Kaufman, Ronald Keeves, Peggy Saul, and Elaine Gordon, and all whose names we've uttered quietly as well. Find the words to our prayer on 371 in your prayer books.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say amen. Amen. Those in need of healing with refuah and lema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
All those numbered among the Israelites remain perpetually in our family, in our hearts, and indeed even in the world through the good that they did and the meaning that they left behind. And so tonight we will not only count but name them, our loved ones who died at this time of year, our loved ones who have died recently. We'd like to honor the mourners in our community by asking in the following order for you to rise. Will those who are within the first 7 days of remembrance for a loved one please rise? If you are within 30 days of remembering a loved one, would you please rise? Those within a first year of remembrance, please rise. And if tonight you're commemorating a yahrzeit, would you please rise? We'd ask the entire congregation to stand with you in sympathy and fellowship for you in your time of remembrance and loss, with the Jewish people remembering 8 months ago today the victims of October 7th, remembering all those who have laid down their lives to defend the state of Israel since October 7th, and all the innocent of God's children taken since October 7th. Tihi zichronam baruch, may the memories of the righteous provide blessing. This week, WRT remembers those taken in the last 4 weeks: David Ross, father of the late Jody Ross Burns and father-in-law of Doug Burns; Diane Gardner, mother of Beth Goldoff; Cecile Schulman, mother of Stephen Schulman; Shirley Ruth Shapiro, sister of Lee Kern; Peggy Levitan, mother of Brian Levitan; Wilbur Freed, father of David Freed; and Elsa Glucksberg, cousin of Michelle Smith. And those whose Yahrzeit we commemorate tonight: Errol Berman, Renee Burns, Leonard Blitzstein, Stephen Cami, Sylvia Camrus, Helene Zeitlin, Jennifer Friedman Chalk, Bernard Cohen, Anna Solomon, Brad Kustan, Samuel Damashek, Joel Deitch, Doris Flickstein, Irene Gersh, Clara Glickman, Sue Ellen Globus, Burton Gordon, Myron Gorell, Sidney Grant, Sylvia Hausberg, Dorothy Hodas, Barton Hexter, Helen Johnson, Shirley Kramer, Laura Kresny, Richard Layton, Philip Lefrancois, Carol Lieberman Reed, Norman Emmanuel Lubin, Stanley Mark, Evelyn Markowitz, Leonard Marks, Albert Mazer, Roberto Medina, Alfred Nadler, Robert Needleman, Karen Norman, Gary Pillersdorf, Ruth Prinzer, Donna Rosenberg-Reisman, Louis Roca, Francis Rogers, Sophie Rosen, Charles Rosenthal, Eva Rosenthal, Alice P. Ross, David Schildkraut, Robert Sessler, Ruth Sessler, Peter Shepp, Adrienne Dana Siegel, Richard Stern, Marvin Talish, Herbert Temkin, Maurice Tepper, and Saul Weissman. If you have names to add to our commemoration, or if I've inadvertently mispronounced the loved one's name, please speak them at this time. Let us offer the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol be Israel, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam alalmei maya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmeid kudasha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam araba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Ose shalom b'meromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen.
I'd like to thank our greeters this evening, Allison Green and Donna Rabin. Hearty mazel tov to our 3 mitzvot, Isaac Citron and the Citron family, Ari Farber and the Farber family, as well as Andy April and the entire April family. Hearty mazel tov to all 3 families. We have Torah study tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in person and Sifrei Av via Zoom. On Tuesday, June 11th at 7 p.m. at Temple Israel, we have Tikkun Leil Shavuot and Yizkor service. And WRJ is sponsoring an evening with Rabbi Blake Thursday, June 13th at 6:30. Shabbat Shalom.
More announcements? All right. So let's lift up our cup of thanksgiving, offer a little bit of Kiddush and Motzi, and experience the joy of being together as a community. Will the congregation please rise?
As we're bringing our Kiddush cup over, just a quick word of thanks to our community choir, just for adding your voices to our commemoration this evening.
And for your beautiful rendition of an original composition.
Nope, not by me.
Not yours?
Cantor Becky Man. Cantor
Oh,
Becky Man.
well, it says you. You have to change that.
Arranged for choir by Cantor Isaac, son of the
All
Sor.
right, it's good.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
Put your arms around one another. Join together. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, המוציא לחם מן הארץ.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.